The mission doesn't start with a bang. It starts with a vacuum. You are 19, sitting in a windowless room in a high-security facility that smells of industrial coolant and ozone. You aren't a legendary codebreaker. Not yet. You are a harvester. Your job is the digital equivalent of hoarding gold that you don't have the key to melt down. In the world of standard intelligence, you steal secrets to read them today. In quantum intelligence, you steal secrets to read them in 10 years. This is the harvest now, decrypt later strategy. Every day you sit in front of a terminal and intercept massive streams of encrypted data flowing across the global backbone. You are capturing military cables, banking transactions, and private diplomatic whispers from rival nations. To the rest of the world, this data is unbreakable. It is protected by AES 256 or RSA encryption, mathematical locks that would take a traditional supercomputer a billion years to crack. But you know a secret the public hasn't realized. Math is about to change. You aren't looking for a win today. You are a librarian of the forbidden. You categorize the encrypted blobs, stamp them with a date, and slide them into massive petabyte-scale storage silos. The boredom is the hardest part. You are a data thief who can't see his loot. You spend 8 hours a day watching progress bars as garbage data fills your drives. You feel like a ghost haunting a library where all the books are written in a language that hasn't been invented yet. But then you see the invitation. It's an internal transfer notice. Your capture rate is the highest in the unit. You have a knack for identifying which encrypted streams contain the highest value legacy data, the secrets that will still matter a decade from now. You are summoned to a sub-basement 3 levels below the harvester floor. The recruiter doesn't look like a spy. He looks like a physicist. He tells you that the librarian phase of your life is over. He explains that the keys are currently being forged in a freezer at the end of the hall. He asks if you want to be there when the first door finally opens. You realize that you aren't just collecting trash anymore. You are gathering the fuel for a fire that will burn down the entire internet as we know it. You are a harvester, and the season of the Q-Day is approaching. You leave the rows of humming servers and the flickering screens of the harvesters. To move to level 2, you have to go down. The elevator travels deep into the bedrock where the vibration of the city above can't reach. When the doors open, the air hits you. It's dry, sterile, and biting. This is the cryo suite, the most silent place on Earth. You are no longer a data thief. You are a cryo technician. You are the keeper of the cold. A quantum computer is a fragile, shivering god. It cannot think in the warmth of a normal room. At room temperature, atoms bounce around like chaotic pinballs, destroying the delicate qubits before they can perform a single calculation. Your job is to maintain the absolute zero. You manage the massive dilution refrigerators, giant gold-plated cylinders that look like high-tech chandeliers. Inside these fridges, the temperature is colder than deep space. You spend your shifts monitoring liquid helium levels and checking the integrity of superconducting cables. If a single gold wire vibrates, the coherence is lost. If the temperature rises by a fraction of a degree, the computer crashes into a heap of useless thermal noise. You move with a slow, deliberate grace. You wear specialized suits to prevent your own body heat from leaking into the shielding. There is a strange religious feeling to the work. You are tending to a machine that exists on the edge of physical reality. You begin to realize that the computer isn't just a tool, it's a portal. You are keeping the environment stable so that the qubits can enter a state of superposition where they exist in multiple realities at once. The psychological toll starts here. You spend 10 hours a day in a room with no sound except the rhythmic hiss-click of the pulse tube cryocooler. You begin to feel like a ghost yourself. You are the only warm thing in a world of frozen gold and silent math.
You look at the chandelier and realize that if it ever truly wakes up, the data you harvested in level 1 will finally start to speak. You are the one holding the door open, shivering in the dark, waiting for the first light of a quantum dawn. You move from the outer shell of the machine into its very mind. The cold is no longer a physical sensation you fight. It is the silent stage for the performance you must direct. You are now a qubit tuner. If the harvester is the librarian and the cryotech is the janitor of the absolute zero, you are the logic tamer. You are the one who speaks to the particles. Quantum computing isn't like classical programming. You don't just send a signal and get a result. You deal with superposition, the state where a qubit is both a 0 and a 1 at the same time. Your entire day is spent in a battle against decoherence. The universe hates quantum states. It tries to bump into your qubits with every passing stray photon or magnetic fluctuation. When the universe touches the machine, the math collapses, the logic vanishes.
Your job is error correction. You spend hours tuning the microwave pulses that control the qubits. You are looking for the perfect frequency that allows the particles to dance together in entanglement without falling apart. You watch the gate fidelity scores on your monitor like a hawk. A 99% success rate isn't enough. In the Quantum Intelligence Agency, 99% is a failure. You need the 3 nines, 99.9%, before the agency will let you run a real-world decryption algorithm. The frustration is psychological. You are working with a computer that changes its mind the moment you look at it. You write a quantum circuit to solve a piece of the SHA-256 hash, and for 6 hours the machine returns nothing but noise, a chaotic mess of random data. Then, at 4 a.m., the noise settles. The interference patterns align. For a fraction of a second, the machine knows the answer to a problem that would take 1,000 years to solve on the surface. You've successfully run a test of Shor's algorithm. It's just a small prime number for now, a digital hello world. But as you look at the clean, perfect output on your screen, you realize the gravity of your rank. You have tamed the ghost. You have proven that the unbreakable locks of the 21st century are just paper doors waiting for the right wind to blow them down. You are no longer just maintaining a machine, you are training a weapon. The day you've spent a decade preparing for has finally arrived. In the history books of the agency, it's known as Q-Day. To the rest of the world, the internet still looks the same. Banks are processing wires, governments are sending secure cables, and billionaires are hiding their wealth behind 256-bit walls. They think their secrets are safe. They are wrong. You are now a decryptor, and you have the only master key in existence. You are moved into the deep vault, a room lined with lead and copper to block every external radio wave. On your screen is a file stolen 10 years ago by a level 1 harvester. Back then, it was just a blob of encrypted noise, a private communication between 2 world leaders during a forgotten crisis. Today, you load that blob into the quantum engine you helped tune in level 3. You don't crack the code through brute force. You don't try billions of passwords. Instead, you use the Shor's algorithm to find the prime factors of a number so large a classical computer couldn't finish the task before the sun burns out. You hit execute. The quantum chandelier in the next room let out a low morning hum as its qubits fall into a perfect unified state of entanglement. On your monitor, the noise begins to settle. The scrambled characters shift, align, and suddenly they become words. The ethics of this rank are devastating. You are reading the private thoughts of people who are now dead, or politicians who built their careers on lies you can now prove. You realize that privacy was always just a temporary gift granted by slow math. Now that math is fast, privacy is a ghost. You see every bank account, every off-the-record deal, and every undercover agent's real name. The realization is cold. The world is now naked. Every secret ever sent over the internet since its birth is now yours to read. You are the codebreaker who ended the era of secrets. You feel a strange sense of mourning for the world above, where people still believe they have shadows to hide in. You know better. In the light of the quantum flame, there are no shadows left. You have moved beyond the break and into the build. At this rank, you are no longer just opening old locks, you are constructing the only communication network in the world that cannot be touched. You are an entanglement officer, also known as a ghost handler. Your tool is quantum key distribution, or QKD, a method of sending information that relies on the fundamental laws of physics rather than the strength of a mathematical password. In the old world, a spy could intercept a message, copy it, and send it on its way without anyone knowing. In your world, that is impossible. You work with pairs of entangled particles. You keep one at the agency and send the other to an operative in a high-threat zone, Beijing, Tehran, or a dark site in the Arctic. Because these particles are linked across space, they share a single soul. If a rival agency even looks at the particle in transit, the link breaks. The wave function collapses. You sit in the detection hub, watching a live feed of these quantum links. It is a strange, quiet war. You aren't looking for a hack or a virus. You are looking for a change in the state of a single atom. If a particle glitches out of its expected spin, you know instantly that a man in the middle is trying to eavesdrop. You don't just stop the message, you see the intruder's shadow before they even realize they've been caught. This is the quantum Cold War. You are fighting a mirror image of yourself. A rival agency, perhaps the Synthetic Bureau or a foreign state-sponsored unit, has their own entanglement officers. You are both trying to observe the other's particles without being seen. It is a game of digital don't blink. You are managing ghost signals that exist and don't exist at the same time. The psychological toll is a new kind of paranoia. You begin to see the entire world as a series of interactions. You realize that merely observing someone, you change them. You can't trust your own senses anymore because you know that observation is an act of interference. You are the ghost handler, protecting the state's most sensitive secrets with a shield made of starlight and uncertainty. You are the only thing standing between total transparency and a new, unbreakable silence. You have reached the final strata of the hierarchy. You are no longer an officer, you are the observer. At this rank, the distinction between information and matter has dissolved. You sit in the directorate of the singularity, a facility shielded so heavily it exists in a state of near total isolation from the electromagnetic noise of the planet. You have become the director of the void, overseeing a world where the concept of a secret has been rendered obsolete by the sheer power of the machine. Your perspective has shifted from the digital to the existential. You understand the final theorem that every thought, every encrypted file, and every historical event is just a configuration of data waiting to be rearranged. You oversee the global decryption matrix, a persistent quantum state that monitors the world's data flow in real time. To you, the internet isn't a network of wires, it's a transparent ocean. You see the ripples of a coup before the conspirators have finished typing their manifestos. You see the zero-day exploits of Level 4 cyber units before they are even compiled. The psychological cost is the total loss of a human reality. You live in a world of superposition. To you, a person is both a patriot and a traitor until you observe their private communications. A war is both won and lost until the quantum calculation collapses the probability. You have lost the ability to live in the present because you are constantly calculating the decoherence of the future. You are a ghost inhabiting a world of ghosts, governing a reality that is fundamentally uncertain to everyone but you. The end of your career arrives with the same clinical silence that defined its beginning. You are standing in the cryo suite, the gold chandelier of the processor gleaming in the blue dark. A 19-year-old recruit, a quantum harvester, is being let in for his first briefing. He looks at the machine with a mixture of terror and awe. He thinks he is here to protect his country. He doesn't know he is here to witness the end of privacy itself. You hand the coolant. You pass the master biometric keys to the next generation. You don't give a speech about security or the state. You've seen too many decrypted truths to believe in those slogans anymore.
You simply lean in and whisper the final lesson. Nothing is hidden. Nothing is certain. We are only the ones who watch the wave collapse. You walk out of the agency into the London morning. The sun is a bright, unencrypted yellow. You watch the people rushing to work, staring at their phones, trusting in their passwords and their locked doors. You don't feel superior. You feel a profound, quiet pity. You are the observer who saw too much, now walking into a world that is blissfully, beautifully blind. The green ink is gone. The blue neon is gone. There is only the white light of a world with no more secrets.